What's up?
Nothing. Just here.
Just here?
Being interviewed.
How's life?
Pretty good. I could complain. I'm not gonna say I can't complain. I could complain, but I won't.
No, I mean,
gotta be grateful for life.
No, this is still a safe space to. I wouldn't call it complaining. You could just talk about what you're going through if it's
Therapy. My therapist now.
Nah. I mean, this. I wanted to feel that way though. I
like what you're doing.
You do?
Yeah.
Yo, you know what's
It
crazy?
is therapeutic on both ends. The viewer, the interviewee.
Yo,
for you.
Yeah, absolutely. This is like different for me too.
It's not that different.
It's not. I've been doing this, I guess, in real life, but like
people like, since when Anthony a talk show host?
I know, right?
You've always been like this. So.
Listen, yeah, you know that, and so I do want it to feel that way.
Okay.
You know, so it's been a long. I mean, I can't even remember the last time we had this, right?
Yeah, I was thinking it's actually probably an unfortunate memory, but I was thinking about the my friend's 10-year death anniversary is coming up next month, and the day that she passed away, we were literally
together,
filming,
right? Yep.
Doing content for one of my first small businesses. So it's like, I don't know, it kind of is full circle with it being 10 years. It's like, wow, we've been doing stuff like this forever, and it just reminded me of that. So and I'll dedicate my interview to Anna Keese.
That's real, and I remember that moment like it was yesterday.
Yeah, that was crazy.
It was, cause like when you got that phone call, you were like, everything was just.
We were literally, it was you, me, and Alicia, I think. Yep, we were shooting. She was modeling for me. Yep. I was like directing the shoot. It was like, a high as an entrepreneur. Those are the things that you enjoy doing. And we came back inside to like unload, unpack, got the call, turned the TV on.
That was it.
That was it,
man. Yeah.
Yeah, that was crazy.
It was.
10 years is a long time.
But you've been doing stuff for longer than 10 years.
Yeah, that was that section of life was really the start of me solidifying wanting to have businesses and things of that nature. So that very first business, even before that, we were doing little events, and you would like let me have you follow me around and make videos and stuff. But yeah, 2011, 2012 was when I really started like, oh, let me legitimize a business and have a real website and throw events in. So yeah, it was a good time.
What kept you going for that long?
I honestly think when you're an entrepreneur, you honestly struggle from having so many ideas.
Yeah.
You're consistently bubbling with new ideas, and that kind of propels you forward because you're always willing to try something new, whether it fails or is successful or not.
Yeah.
That literally just keeps you in the game, because if this thing didn't work out, I got 10 other things I'm ready to pull out my back pocket.
It's like you got bullets in the chamber with this.
Yeah. I'm trying to slow down though, for sure.
Yeah, see, because I know deep down people want to know, like, when are you going to stop?
I'm stopping now. This is it.
This is it?
No, I'm not stopping,
yeah.
But it's hard to explain to others because I've been doing a lot of like internal self-reflection. I've always done a lot, and I think a lot of people, they'll like make little jokes about it, like, you always doing the most, you do a lot, da 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 da.
Right.
People like it when it's beneficial to them, but Absolutely. It does have its negative impacts on me. So I've definitely, for this year, specifically 2022, I've made more of a conscious decision to do less, say less,
right.
Be less available, say no, stop overextending myself. So that's something that's new for me. It's very hard. It's a lot to unpack, and it's a lot to act out on a daily basis because I always want to jump in, help, offer, guide, support, and I had to really reel that in for my personal self.
It must be hard with the personality that you have.
Yes, it's very difficult. I literally have to walk to the mirror and say, girl, like, let's shut it down for the day. It's so hard. Someone could be saying a simple thing. You could say, hey, I was thinking about A, B, and C, and I'm like, oh yeah, you should do it like this, and da da da. And I know this place, and I know this person, and it's very hard for me to dial that back. And it puts me in a position where, because I'm so enthusiastic about it, people may take advantage of that, even not in a malicious way, but they want to take advantage of that. So I had to just reel it back for myself so I don't experience burnout, because I've been there before.
You said something that was dope, like being less accessible. That's interesting. Almost like the value, you're like an asset.
It's very isolating though.
Yeah?
Yeah, because when people realize that you're good at something, they want to tap into that more. It's like,
Right.
we know you do videography and you have all these certain skills. So it's
Yeah.
like, if every time somebody hit you up, every time I hit you up, say, come with me to do this
Right.
video, do that video.
Right.
It's like exhausting. So then you pull back. But once you pull back, you really realize, oh, wow, people only hit me up to ask me a question or have me do a task or use me for a talent. So it's extremely isolating. It's kind of revealing and isolating.
So you feel used?
No, I never want to put it out there like that. And it's something that's very hard to verbalize. I actually had put like a little PSA on Instagram, and I feel like it was very well received by the people who could relate, and those who couldn't, it just wasn't received because it sounds bitchy. It sounds like, leave me alone, you're bothering me, but that's not what it is. You may be asking me to do a simple thing on a Tuesday, but you're one of literally 20 people that just asked me to do something simple.
Right.
And if I say yes to all these things because I don't want to be the bad guy, I don't want to look bitchy.
Right.
Now I'm like, okay, it's 7:00 now. I haven't done what I need to do for myself, for my family, for my other personal responsibilities. So it was very hard for me to put it in words, and it made me very emotional because I would never want anyone to think I'm shutting them out and I don't want to help them.
Yeah.
But I have been helping people. But it's been my personality and my brand all my life. Like I need a little vacation from saying yes to, it seems like, oh, it's real quick. Can you do this for me? But I have to say no.
Do you receive that type of help? Or like, is it vice versa? Like, do you have some like people that help you? Can you call?
I absolutely have a core of people that would absolutely, but I also don't abuse that.
Right.
So like one of my friends actually told me, oh, let me know if you need help with A, B, and C. And I said, yeah. And she said, you're not going to call me. And I'm like, the reason why I'm not calling you is, it's not because I don't want the help. It's just, I have literally so many things going on. I don't like to, I like to just be in my solitude because then I can move and shake how I need to move and shake on my own time.
Right.
I would never want to ask someone, come help me to do A, B, and C, and then I can't follow through because now I just picked up 10 other things I got to do. My schedule is just too hectic, and that's something I'm trying to pull back on myself so I can get to a regular place where if I do need help, I can ask people and I'm just on like a regular person schedule. I don't think people really realize how much stuff I do in a day, and I'm sure that there's other people that can relate, but I'm literally even when I'm resting, my brain is not resting. I'm trying to get to a point mentally and emotionally where when I'm resting and I'm laying and I'm in solitude, I'm not thinking of thoughts and thinking of things to do. So it's just a lot going on. But I definitely have a really solid core support system of people that would absolutely help. Obviously, my boyfriend, that's the main person. He really is the only person that has a true understanding of all the things that I do all day because we're in the same household. And I'm a person, if you ask me, I'm going to be completely honest, but I don't go to people with issues.
Right.
I don't say, oh my God, guess what happened to me, A, B, and C. But if you bring it up, because it's like, I know, I look at it, I put myself in other people's shoes. I know if I got 10 million things going on today, this person probably does too. So why would I call you up dumping a million things on you? But then people look to me in that light.
I was going to say they do it to you though.
Yeah, they do it to me. And it's like, I'll let someone, I can be talking to someone, they could be venting for 2 hours straight and never ask me anything about what's going on with me. So to me, it's kind of like it has shaped me to I just listen.
Oh.
I used to, like when I used to get into a conversation with people, they used to say, this happened to me, and I would, come back and try to have something that related to it.
Yeah.
But I see like little funny memes and stuff about people saying like, when I'm telling you a story, don't tell me your version of the story.
Right.
So now I just listen. So I really don't, it's very limited that I would really interject and tell somebody what's going on. But if you ask me, I'm an open book. I'll start spilling. You be like, damn, are you okay?
Right, sure.
Because now I'm just spilling it all because you asked.
You know how dope this was? How we just started that?
Yeah, you ain't even do no intro. No intro needed.
Because guess what? We about to run
you
it back.
Letterman.
We about to, listen. We're gonna hit it with the remix real quick. So you can tell the people your name and what you do.
My name is Shay. I am a small business owner, but I wear many hats. I have a social media platform where I always try to advocate for people being more resourceful for themselves. I try to share any information and knowledge that I have. But then outside of that, I have my businesses, both Paper Sanders, which is a product-based business, and Aglow Event Styling, which is a service-based business, which actually more than likely will be sold within the next 2 months. So that's something interesting to talk about. So yeah, I'm really, really, really pulling it back on a lot of stuff. Like, as hard as it may be.
All right. We're going to get to that.
Put a pin in that.
How did Shay become this person? Like, what drove you to become this person?
That's a really good question. That's something that, like I said, I've been doing a lot of self-reflection and I've been trying to figure it out too. And when I look back at like some of the different evolutions of my schedule, whether it was being a college student and taking 7 classes and having 3 jobs at the same time, or having 5 jobs at once, it sounds ridiculous, but I've had different evolutions of my schedule. And I think that when I really go to the core of it, I just have always tried to stay busy, probably to avoid deeper things in life. And that sounds kind of cliche, but the busier you are, the more engaged you are, the less time you have to really self-reflect and sit with your thoughts.
Right.
Whereas now I'm kind of evolving into a new schedule where it's like I want to chill and I'm constantly thinking things through all day long with myself. Like, what can I, like, damn, am I a bad person? Am I a good person? Am I doing it right? Am I a good mom? Like, I'm really in a deep self-reflection. So
we're gonna get on the mom part too, because
many parts.
Yeah, it's so many layers. Now, did you always see yourself as an entrepreneur? Like, did you see this?
Yeah. I was just on my god sister Andrea. She has a podcast now too.
Shout out to Andrea.
Real Talk with DMB. But yeah, I was telling a story about when I was about 8 years old and I used to do dictation for my uncle for his college papers. And he was supposed to pay me, and he didn't pay me one day. And I wrote like a whole letter and put it on his door. You owe me this amount because you promised me this amount. So even from back then, even from like the early 2000s when we had burning CDs, I used to do mixtapes. People would come to my door and buy a mixtape. I've always been into it. It's because I like to try things. Yeah. And it's like, if I'm spending time to learn how to do something, then why not monetize it? But at the same time, I'm trying to learn how to not monetize every single thing that I know how to do. So.
Okay, so. Interesting. But you did go to college. So why didn't you jump straight into it?
You know what? If I knew now what I knew then I probably would have had a different path. I actually just went to Philly this past weekend, so I was just thinking about my college experience. I went to Temple University for only 1 semester, but my boyfriend was asking me, like, how did you choose Temple? And I went on a college tour my junior year. I instantly fell in love with it. And at the time, I wanted to be a social worker. And I didn't know too much about social work programs. So they had a 5-year track program for your bachelor's and your master's. Most colleges do, but at the time, that just sounded like that was the kicker. Like, I can do everything in 5 years. Went there. Things did not work out financially as far as parents paying for college. Came home, went to a state school, Central, and kind of just did a bunch of random things ever since then. So I always was in that human services side of things, but always had businesses on the side. I always was like a multifaceted and didn't have a problem with it. My last not real job, but my last long-term employment was with in the public health industry. And I really enjoyed it and actually went back to school for my master's while I had businesses. And I actually was at the tail end of my program. I think I had like 3 classes left. And I literally had just like a mental health crisis and I was out of work. And the class that I was in was my capstone to finish my program, but my capstone location was my job, but I wasn't at work. Right. So it turned into this big, like it just snowballed into, I can't finish the class because I'm not at work. I'm not at work because I'm burnt out and I'm mentally going through, and I was in therapy 4 days a week at that time when I was out of work. So my professor was not working with me. So I actually went back to work so I could finish my program. Right. And when I went back to work, I couldn't do it. I still couldn't do it.
So you didn't finish?
So I retook the class to redo my capstone, went back to work, left right back out of work. I don't even know how long I was there the second time, and I never finished that program. I had to just make a decision because it was my second time taking the class. I would have had to pay for it the third time. Yeah. And I'm at this point now, I'm unemployed because I've left my job for my mental health. Right. So I had to literally let my whole program go.
How do you feel you got so burnt out? Like, how did you get to that mind state of where, like, you couldn't go back to work?
All the things that I've already explained. I had all these businesses. I'm throwing all these events. I'm doing my job. I actually really, really love my job. And I'll say it to this day, like, if it was, if the environment was the way I needed it to be, I would absolutely do that job again. But just dealing with all of that combined with me encountering anxiety and depression. Yeah. I couldn't do it. I worked about an hour away, so I had at least a 2-hour commute, and then I also worked in the field. Yeah. So even when I got to my office an hour away, I went another hour to go do my work. Yep. So between driving, exhaustion, I'm a mom. By the time I get home, it's late. I don't have time to really take a hold of my schedule. Yeah. And I'm getting to the point of depression. My sleep hygiene is terrible. I'm not sleeping. My eating hygiene, terrible. I would be at work and look at the clock, and it would be 3 o'clock. Yeah. And I haven't eaten all day. And I'll just go force myself to eat because but then I started realizing, these are symptoms of something else.
Right. Damn. Therapy back, what year was that?
It's so funny because that was actually 2019.
Yeah.
And if I had, I left my job in January, if I had stuck it out a couple more months, everybody worked from home starting in March because of the pandemic.
Right.
And at that time, that's what I needed. I needed a little bit more wiggle room, a little bit more space to figure my personal stuff out and not have to show up physically somewhere every day.
Right.
Because if I'm not eating right, sleeping right, I'm irritated, I'm agitated, and I'm trying to do my job, I can't even get my physical appearance together.
Damn.
I can't really make it shake. But if I had been, it's so funny. If I had stuck it out 2 more months, I would have been working from home with everybody else. But that was the timing of it. But yeah, that was 2019. I actually spent how old am I turning this year? 34.
Yeah, I be forgetting too.
I don't know if it was my 31st or my 32nd. I think it was my 30. I spent my 31st birthday hey, happy birthday. I was in the therapy program that I was in. And I think only like 3 people are aware of it.
Okay. Yo, so like for me, right? I have a hard time. I'm just now hearing that therapy really works.
Yeah, I heard your interview.
Yeah. So like I never really thought it worked. Go get into that. How did you know to go?
I had never been to therapy prior to that. I had played with the idea. I have friends who are therapists. I definitely was always a person that thought that it was something that was needed. And I have my own personal issues where I'm like, I probably need to go get this stuff figured out.
Right.
But when I got to that point, I was actually in an outpatient program at one of the city's like biggest mental health facilities. So they have a program that is for people who are professionals, or you literally have to have a degree to go to the program.
Okay.
And you're there 3 to 4 days a week. So it's a wide variety of people who have a lot of different professional jobs, but they're battling with depression and anxiety. But the issue was the spectrum was so wide that it had a negative impact on me. Ooh. So you have some people who, I'm burnt out from work. My hours are crazy. I want to see my family. That's causing my depression.
Yep.
Then you have literally people that were just released from inpatient for suicidal ideation or suicidal attempts.
Okay, that's a whole nother.
That's a really big spectrum for me to be engaged with 4 days a week when I'm already going through shit.
Yeah.
I'm not in a mental space to be in a group program, but that's the program that I was in because that's what I was in. That's what was recommended to me at the time.
Right.
That gave me such a negative experience of therapy that I was like, I'm not doing this. But I had to complete that program because I had started it.
Yeah.
So I followed through with it. I was not active in the program. I know they were like this, like she not even participating.
Damn.
I was like, it was like on some when you bring your child to like Beyond Scared Straight.
Right.
I don't care about this. Like I didn't have a positive attitude towards it because I felt like it was making me feel worse.
Right.
It was absolutely making me feel worse. But in order to transition out of that program, you had to set up your regular therapy. So when I transitioned out of it, I said, okay, I know that I want a Black woman. I know I want her to be, of a reasonable age where I feel that she can relate.
Yep.
I don't even know how I ended up finding the therapist that I found, which is so funny because I just saw her last week at an event. And it was like seeing my friend because I haven't seen her in a while. I stopped going probably mid-pandemic because things had changed with, scheduling and stuff.
Right.
But anyway, so I transitioned out to her. And even though it was difficult, it was just so much easier to talk to a person that I could relate to. When I was in that program, it literally was older white men. I was the only young Black woman. And I remember there was one time I was there and we were talking about something. I was saying something about my son.
Right.
And one of the guys said, oh my God, it must be so hard to be a single mother.
Oh.
And I was like record scratch.
Right.
Shout out to the single mothers, but this is why I don't share. I literally never said anything about being a single mother. I'm telling you that parenting is hard, whether you're a father, a grandparent, parenting is hard. So that let me know this is not really the space for me.
Right.
I'm a 31-year-old Black woman in a room with 60-year-old white men and people that just got released for suicidal ideation. This is not quite the fit for me.
Right.
So when I transferred out to the private therapy that I had, it was just like perfect. Like, it was hard, obviously, the things that we were talking about, but it just felt more warm and welcoming because it was a Black woman and it was just me and her. It's not a group share. I don't feel that group therapy, and what the situation that I was in is effective. Maybe for some people it works, but it definitely gave me a negative view of therapy as a whole. But I'm glad that I transitioned out to a better fit because my therapy with the private therapist was absolutely vital in me getting where I needed to be.
Right. Damn. That's a lot, Shay.
That's a whole lot.
That's a whole lot. So, all right. So in this process, what businesses did you have going for yourself? If you could remember, like.
Okay, so when I initially left my job, I had Aglow Event Styling, which was the service-based business. And the pandemic hit.
Yep.
And what's the main thing that happened? No events.
Right.
It's an event-based business. The whole business model is framed around people meeting, having events, getting married, baby showers, weddings, all of that.
Yep.
So now you cannot do that now. So
Yeah.
that's over. So first I'm depressed because I'm burnt out.
Right.
Now I'm depressed because where I'm gonna get money from.
Right.
Like either way, you're gonna be in a bind. So now I'm up like crying, I really can't eat or sleep because I'm
Right.
like, oh no, this is really like this. But it's almost like everybody was going through it, so
Yeah.
it wasn't as crazy. So at that time, I had already had the concept for paper sanders like a couple years prior, but I had hit some roadblocks and put it on the back burner. So because we were home in that way, I said, well, let me start the product-based business because now I have the space and time to actually do that. So
Paper standards. That's dope, by the way. How did that come about in your head?
So I've always been into just stationery and planning. So it actually was in 2017. I went to a brunch it was like a business networking brunch, and it kind of sparked the feeling for me like, oh, I need to, start this business idea that I've been having. Started getting samples, had a logo made, had all type of things done. But I was finding that when it was time for me to actually find manufacturers and someone to create my product, people weren't understanding what I was looking for because I have a refillable agenda. Most people know if you have a planner, you buy it from the store, you open it, you're good to go.
Right.
My business, you pick out what you want inside the planner, and you put it all together, like an outfit.
Right, okay.
So I couldn't find people to understand what that meant, and so I shelved it at the time. So when the pandemic came around, it was like, okay, well, now I have time and space to figure out how to maneuver and get manufacturers. And so I basically taught myself how to do all that.
And when I see it, it looks like it's very effective. And I don't know, I saw you post, I'm not sure who it was, but it seemed like someone important. But was it, you said Beyonce's manager?
Oh, her PR, is she her PR? Yeah, so her name is Yvette. I feel like she's been her PR for literally her entire career.
Right.
But it's actually funny because even though this person doesn't like to get their credit, Joyce is very close with her because Joyce works with a lot of people in the entertainment industry because she's in hair and
Right.
she's in like high-end luxury hair. So she said, I work with Yvette. Would you like to send her a gift? Of course, absolutely,
no brainer.
So when you do anything like that, there's no like you must post that. It's
Right.
a gift. It's
a
whenever
gift,
they
right.
feel like posting it. So when she posted that, it was literally months later. But even on top of that, she also ended up shopping with me. So that kind of solidified like not only it's not like you just received the gift, but you actually followed through and you enjoy my product. So that
Right.
was big. So that was definitely Joyce. Like she connects me with a lot of places that I wouldn't be able to connect myself. So that's definitely one of the people, like when I say I have a very solid core, she's one of those people.
It's interesting. I didn't think people would really, like when I saw you doing that first, I'm like, wow, that's interesting. How can do people really buy? Like,
It's so funny. That's why I said I had all those roadblocks because especially in the digital age, you can
Right.
plan on your phone.
Yo,
you can plan on your
for
computer,
real.
But people don't realize how niche the planning community is. It's a high spending community and people that like to touch paper and write things down and decorate and memory plan and scrapbook and all
Right,
that. It's
right.
a big industry.
it is.
So it's hard to explain to people that are outside of it, but it's the customer base is absolutely there. And I know that because I'm a customer of the industry.
Right. So how did you, your real success, it's like, it's growing. Like, what do you say, like, what was your, I don't want to give out I don't want to give out the like, too much of what you do.
Yeah.
But, like, how did you get to that level? Because, like, how did you Joyce gave you the recommendation, but still.
I think that it's still in a growth stage. I would not call it success. Like it's as far as building a community, it's absolutely successful.
Right.
It's not a business that's super profitable right now because I'm still figuring out what I want to sell, who I need to sell it to. I don't
Right.
do any formal marketing at all because I don't have the budget for that right now.
Right.
Because I'm also not, you have to put money in to make money. You got to spend
Absolutely.
thousands in ads and all that
Absolutely.
stuff. I don't have the manpower to spend thousands in ads and get thousands in traffic. It's literally just me.
Right.
So as far as that goes, I don't consider it to be like extremely successful, but my customer base, top tier. I've never experienced anything like, when people say strangers root for you harder than people that you know,
That's true,
the
right?
people that shop paper standards, it's like an army. Like they hit, I have a note right now on my desk. Somebody ordered something and she needed something else, but I never opened the package. So I just opened it the other day and it's a whole sticky note. Like, keep doing what you're doing. You're setting an example, So that as far as I'm concerned, is the success of the business. And it almost makes me not want it to scale because I don't want to lose that part of it.
Right. Damn. Keep going, because I see it. I see it. I think it's working. From the outside looking in, Instagram is funny because you're like, people really listen to you, yo. Don't act like you don't know.
No, I will never take that away from myself. What I always say is, like, even in this age of like influencers, and I had that in my bio, entrepreneurship, lifestyle influencer.
Right.
But I literally am naturally influential, but that's because it's nothing that I'm putting out is like a front to. I'm sitting here with my dirty Crocs on, like this is my office. No, I'm not right, but half under. No, they dirty. But like what I'm showing, I feel is literally just me every day. But then at the same time, people still perceive it as like saying what's your name of your podcast? No Guru. It's because like you want to put that label. Like, now don't think I'm saying I know everything. Right. But I have people that know me in real life will say, I'm usually busy working, but if you want to chill, come by the office. Or I don't want to come by your office because I don't got my stuff together. Like, what stuff we got? I don't got no stuff together. Right. So I think Instagram and social media being like a highlight reel for everyone absolutely does create a false perception of like people being perfect and having things all together. I know for me, like I said, I'm not going to hide things, but I'm not one of those people that's like 100% transparency online. I read a really good quote that said, share your scars, not your wounds. I'm still in the thick of things. I'm in the trenches. You are. That story I just told you about me being at the mental institution with people that just, I've never shared that. That's for me. I'm not in a place where I'm gonna get on Instagram and be crying and telling you my life story. Right. I want to get past a few more things before I share in detail. But I also would never want people to think everything is hunky dory because it's not. It's hard on a day-to-day basis.
So what made you do this?
It's you. I'm not gonna say no. Yeah. And I'm gonna give you, like I said,
right.
I'm gonna give you a full
there it
story.
Is. Okay, yeah.
So people who are truly interested, that's why I try to just gear towards authenticity.
Right.
You have a bunch of Instagram followers, 20% is bots, 50% is people that you don't know. Right. People that really want to know your story, they'll tap into a podcast a blog. They'll read, they'll actually listen, they'll everything will be important to them. Instagram is just whoever saw it that day, they double tapped it and they kept it moving. So I don't share that way on Instagram, but I still try to keep it as regular as possible.
That was a gem, by the way. But okay, so now we can do some comparisons, right?
Sure.
You working, and then you in this world, the entrepreneur in the trenches.
I'm working again.
Oh.
Yeah, it's. I'm telling you, it's a mental illness.
Hold on.
So I have I'm trying to figure out, like I said, I may be closing one business down. We're at the midpoint of the year. I'm getting older. I'm trying to figure out what the rest of my life looks like. I've never been where do you see yourself in 5 years type of person. But we're definitely at the point where like you have to have a foundation laid. So it's a lot of stuff I'm trying to figure out. So in order to prepare for things that I may want to do a year from now, I'm taking on more right now at this time. Okay. So I have a contract position that I work full time. Okay. And I still have the 2 businesses.
All right. So before that, right? The comparison.
Right.
Is it harder? Is it like, let's be honest, like, how some people, because I do both, right? Because not that I'm afraid, right? Yeah. It's just, I'm like.
I think both is the key.
Yeah, okay. I think that's what we're getting on.
So if you can manage it mentally, emotionally, and time, your time management, if you can manage it, I would say to do both. Because the thing is, nobody wants to be told what to do, what time to be at work, if they could take the day off to go to their kids' recital. Nobody wants to be in that position. But at the end of the day, if you're not the type of person to be structured, when you're out on your own, you're going to fall on your face because there's no structure. Right. There's absolutely no structure. If I fall into a state of depression and I don't work in my business for 2 weeks, now I'm not going, there's no money. Right. I haven't made a dime. Like, it's like working commission. Right. So as an entrepreneur, people always put those little videos up. Like, I left my 9 to 5 and I work 24/7. Right. You have to have structure. And I think the position I'm in now, the contract that I work now, it gave me back a lot of the structure that I was kind of like weaning off of. Yeah. because it's like, you take advantage of the fact that you don't have to be anywhere at a certain time.
Right.
This is like, okay, now that I have all these things to manage, I have to, like I was saying, I'm working my business second shift.
Right.
Like I'll come in here from 6 to 9, 6 to 9, 6 to 9. I have more of a schedule.
Right.
Whereas, like I said, when I was at my job before, when you have to physically show up somewhere, that takes up more of your day. You got to get dressed, you got to figure out lunch and all this stuff. So now working remotely, I know I can sit at home. I can do what I need to do for my contract, get everything settled, and I know I'm gonna hit my office at 6 p.m. Same way people hit the gym, 5 a.m. I'm hitting the gym, 5 a.m. I'm hitting my office, 6 p.m. I'm hitting my office, and I'll now I have more, like, things are more solidified into blocks of time rather than my personality type is ADHD all over the place multitasking. I'm trying to pull back from multitasking and having more structure.
When you did that, did you feel like, oh man, damn, like I'm going back to the stuff that I didn't want to do?
No, because I did that intentionally. I wrote down everything that I wanted, and if it wasn't what I wanted, then I wasn't going to do. I'm absolutely not going to anybody's place of business.
Right.
Every day. I'm not getting up and going to anybody's place.
Right.
My job right now is very flexible. If I need to go to a meeting for my son, I don't have to ask someone, can I be somewhere?
Okay.
If I'm on top of my productivity and my work is done and I'm in contact with who I need to be in contact with, it is what it is.
Okay.
So I think that it's a great time for people to do both, because there are so many opportunities that are remote, that are flexible, that are temporary, that are contracts.
Right.
You don't have to lock into a career. That's not the type of girl I am. I don't need to climb the career ladder.
Right.
I need a little sprinkle of stability. Mm-hmm. I need a job that I enjoy, a team that I enjoy, and I can make it work from there. So having more of I don't necessarily need it, but I know I want to pick up something right now. That puts me in a better position to choose what I want versus, oh my God, I need a job.
Right.
Let me just go work at Panera Bread and let them abuse me. Work me 60 hours a week. I don't have to subject myself to that.
And that's a good thing, because like the fact that you work and you have that history, you can always go back in.
Yeah, you can always go back.
And that was a blessing of COVID too.
Yeah.
Like you said, more remote. Now you talk about your son. Let's kind of get on like motherhood. I know you had your son some years back.
Yeah, he's 7 now.
But do you remember, postpartum stage?
Oh yeah, I'll never forget.
I kind of want to dive into that only because like I'm in the thick of things right now.
Yeah.
So like now like it catches my attention. How was it after your son was born?
So okay, I can't say that I had postpartum depression. I know that at the time I didn't feel like myself for sure, but it's nothing that I looked into with like a doctor or anything like that.
Right.
When my son was small, he was always a crier and he's always been very attached. So that negatively impacted our sleep, my sleep. Right. For me, I'm not one of those people that can run off of 2 hours of sleep or whatever it is. Because I was experiencing sleep deprivation, that was negative for me. Right. I literally couldn't really function the way I needed to. And I had the real generic package. I was off for the 8 weeks because I had a C-section, went straight back to work. So I didn't have that experience of, if I was to do it now, it'd be like I would put myself in a position to have a minimum of a year off. Because I literally could remember like on the day, like, damn, I feel like myself again. And that was about a year later.
Oh, okay. So
knowing in retrospect, you need way more time. 8 weeks is for your body and your body is still not healed. That's not for your mind. 8 weeks is not enough for your mind. And to get adjusted with your child. Right. So I can remember, like, I know some people when they have postpartum depression, they have those feelings of like, oh, my baby was born, I didn't really connect with them. Yeah. That wasn't really my issue. It was more so, all right, now, sir, you messing with my sleep, and I can't really function off of no sleep. We're co-sleeping. I don't really have my space, but it's also like now there's a lot of things that I'm giving into as a parent because I just want to get to a resolution faster. Right. So it's like, okay, don't co-sleep, but I can get him to sleep faster if we co-sleeping, so let's just do it. But now I got a 4-year-old kicking me in the face in the bed because you've been co-sleeping all this time. Right. So it's like a catch-22. You do things as a parent to kind of resolve immediate issues, but it creates more long-term issues. Yeah. But yeah, overall though, my son is very laid back. I see a lot of people, I don't want to say complain about parenthood because I know it's hard. I know it's not a complaint. It's true things. But I'm very lucky to have a laid back child. He's very intuitive. He's very smart. He's still a kid. Obviously, he does kid things like, watch me do this jump. And it's like, you ain't even do nothing. But he's a really good kid. So aside from him being a baby that was a heavy crier, it's like, all right, I dealt with that for the 2 years. Now I got my nice, calm, sweet baby. So I'll take that as my trade-off.
That's dope, by the way. So how is it, being a mother and an entrepreneur and now you work a job. How is that dynamic for you? That has to be kind of overwhelming. Or maybe you've got a system. I don't know, but
I'm working on a system for sure. One thing that we're running into currently is like my son being a little bit too addicted to devices, which most kids are, but trying to pull him back from that. But a lot of that is just owning the fact that as parents, as busy parents, we do lean into that more because we have so much going on. So
Right.
for me, it's trying to be more aware. Like I can't be upset that you're addicted to devices when I let you on the devices because I got
Exactly.
10 million things to do. So just trying to, rearrange those type of things. Like literally, even this week, with it being the first week of summer, he's like on device probation because he got a little incident with it. And it's never like that, but it's like I had to tell him your summer is going to be busier than your school year. You got a little window where there's no camp or whatever, but camp is about to start. You're about to be in swimming lessons. I'm trying to find you a little soccer. Like you're going to be all over the place. It's just so that I know you're being productive because I don't want my child to just, I mean, he's very, like I say, he's very smart, great student. He's above reading level. It's not like he's behind in those things,
Yeah.
but I don't want you to be so dependent on devices that you don't know how to like go outside and play. Like let's bring it back to
right,
the old
yeah,
days. a
no,
little bit.
seriously. So, do you find it difficult running a business and being a mom? Like, how do you find time for him? Because
Right.
you saying you do your second shift is this, and then
Mm-hmm.
even though you have a job where you have flexibility, a mom is like 24/7.
Right. So one, it has a lot to do with my son being older in age.
Yeah.
If he was smaller, I'm sure it would be a lot harder. A lot of these like businesses and things have come about after he was born.
Yeah.
Two, with the service-based business, the event styling business, it's heavy on the weekends because that's when people have events. That's a big part of the reason why I no longer want to do it. Because I
Right.
don't want my entire weekend to be spent me away from my family traveling. And you're in the wedding industry.
I
the
know how it
videography.
is, yep.
It is a big sacrifice. And I've done it for 4 years and it's like, okay, I think that's enough.
Right.
My son is getting older. He's always been like good with us in public and stuff. So it's like, all right, you're 7. I want to travel. Like we always go to Florida and stuff, but I really want to travel. And so I want to ease back on the service-based business. As far as the product-based business and me having office space, he comes here and chills on the couch and helps me pack orders.
Okay.
And if I'm doing my little vlogging on YouTube, he comes and fix my camera for me. So it's getting to the point where I can't wait till you get your license and you're driving me around and we're doing stuff together. So it's like he's my sidekick. It's not a burden.
Right.
But it also leads me to when people ask, when are you having more kids? And it's like I have a lot of freedom with
I
having.
hate that question, by the way.
It's a very inappropriate question. And usually people ask you that right after they just got done complaining about their kids. You
Right.
ever notice that?
Yeah.
It's like you just told me, all these kids getting on my, but then you're asking about when am I having more kids. So it's like I'm good with the situation that we have. It's very easy for me to work with him. He can, he is very creative himself. He likes to do YouTube himself, make videos, draw. He's into Pokemon. So
Yep.
there's a lot of things that he could do simultaneously while I'm working. It fosters a lot of conversations about like, he'll say something like, oh, you didn't go to work today at your office, so you probably don't have any money.
Oh shit.
Because you have to work, you have to go there to make money. I'm like, yeah. So it fosters those conversations as far as like, how financially.
Those
how to
learning-
grow.
yeah, those learning
Yeah, so
moments.
he's learning a lot about entrepreneurship. The office space that I'm in, his dad has a space here as well. So he has that, my parents do creative things and they have their own businesses on top of working. So I think it kind of it's going to make him more well-rounded, whether he does something like this or not.
So you are finding a way to get it done then.
I feel a lot better, like at this stage, I feel a lot better than that burnout stage that I was experiencing. But like I said, a lot of that is based on the foundation of having a job that's flexible, working a job that's flexible and really making decisions business-wise that lead to a healthier schedule that allow for sleep hygiene, eating right, having time for my family, and don't leave me stressed out. If I know every time I go to do an event styling gig, I'm breaking a nail and crying and sweating and I'm outside and doing all this stuff and people are running late, that's probably not going to work for me as I continue to go. I don't want to be 40 years old away from my family at a place that I don't even enjoy.
Right.
I'm at the point in my life, everything that I do, I want it to be something that I want to do. I don't ever want to be doing anything I don't want to do.
Right.
As bratty as that sounds.
No.
So even with work, you may run into scenarios where you may not enjoy them temporarily, but for the most part, it has to make sense. If somebody asks me to do a podcast tomorrow and I'm not in the mood to do it, I'm going to say no. If you ask me to do it, I'm going to say yes. But I'm just at that point where it literally has to make sense. There's no point of everybody wants to be seen now and they want to be heard and be on this platform. I don't really care for that. So I want to be on things that are of value and it makes sense to me.
So with you saying that, how do you maneuver? I'm still figuring out how to maneuver through that life. What do you do? Is it like you just follow a certain amount of people? Cause like yo, you're tapped into a lot. Like Shay, you have a lot of, you basically the plug on Instagram.
Yeah.
So like, how do we even find those things? Like you talked about Square early in the game.
Very early. They owe me a check.
Yo,
or something.
like you just
I did want a grant from them one time, $1,000 on Instagram. So I'll give them that.
All right,
But,
all right, but yeah, but like how do you find yourself finding out about these things before most?
because I literally, like I said, with the brain type that I have and I'm always thinking, I literally research all day long.
Right.
So it's so funny. I always say to people when they ask me my opinion on something or how to do something, I'm not really reinventing the wheel. I'm not doing nothing that I had to go to school for.
Right.
I'm just literally going on the computer and figuring it out. That's the only difference. I don't have any special access to any special communities.
Right.
I'm just very resourceful. I know that as a business person, I need to go on Facebook and get in. Most people, they'll go on like Facebook, and if you know you do videography, they'll go and get in a videographer group on Facebook with other videographers.
Right.
It's like, that's cool, but you probably need to be in the group with the people that's looking for a videographer so you can see what they're talking about. What do they complain about? What can you do better than the competition? Like, that's the type of time I'm on with how much I research things.
Okay.
And how my brain works. Like I said, my brain is always on. I could be chilling, I'm watching the Martin reunion. Somebody says a one-liner. I'm like, oh, that would make a good reel audio for Instagram. My brain doesn't turn off for those type of things. So that's really, it seems like I'm so tapped in, but I'm literally just living and looking at stuff all day long.
Nah, that's who you are. You can't really teach that, right?
Yeah.
Because
I try, like, just open yourself up to things, expose yourself to new things, and you will come across, it'll spark your creativity, and you'll just be learning things every day.
So you didn't get this from anyone. This is like, because you said something interesting about support, right? You did say your boyfriend was like your only support. You don't feel like no.
I didn't say only.
All right.
I said.
Right, let me not say the wrong thing now.
Because you're trying to get me beat up.
Right.
But my point with that was, most people only see what you show them.
Right.
When you live with somebody, they're seeing good, bad, ugly things that you think you're hiding. They're seeing things before you even see them.
Right.
You know that as a married man.
Absolutely.
What your relationships with your friends and your family, they have evolved over time. And you're still close with a lot of your friends, but our relationships with our friends.
I'm losing a couple though.
It happens. Yeah. But our relationships with our friends have even evolved, and especially with the pandemic, we weren't physically seeing people. It's
true.
So you don't know that I'm having a mental breakdown and I'm in therapy.
Right.
There's friends. I literally had to choose because when I was in that therapy program, I felt bad for enjoying myself. It was just so crazy, but I felt bad for enjoying myself. But I had a gathering for my birthday, and I was deciding if I want to have what day I wanted to have it on. And because I had to go to the therapy program a set number of days, I could only miss one day for the week.
Right.
Do I want to go to therapy the morning of my event or on my actual birthday?
Right.
There's people that was at my birthday event on Tuesday night, and I was in therapy Wednesday morning. You have no idea that I'm sitting at this therapy thing, like ready to pull my hair out. You literally have but then I would see people that I knew on a regular playing field, like, associates, and they'd be like, girl, what you doing here? And I'd be like, girl, I'm a patient. And they just it's very awkward.
Right.
I'm kind of embarrassed. Like, you're at work, and I'm usually the social worker that's at work too.
Right.
So when you live with someone, they see all of that. They know everything. There's no need for me to vent to you and break it down because you're there. It's live. So I would say he's absolutely the greatest support because you have full access to what's going on whether I like it or not, and you're gonna address certain things whether I like it or not. You're gonna say you haven't eaten. Did you eat today?
You see
Did
it,
you
right?
sleep today? Because you can physically see it. Whereas a friend, they might check in on you, but even when I check in on people, what I have learned is instead of just checking in, I provide some actionable things. Oh, my friend just had a baby. Instead of saying, if you need anything, let me know. If you need me to wash dishes, wash clothes, come over so you can take a shot. Like literally giving a list so that you're aware of how minuscule it could get.
Right.
If you want me to pull up for 5 minutes so you can walk outside and scream, I will be there to do that. Versus, oh, hey, how you doing? Most people are going to say fine. Because it's like, what you going to do if I'm not fine?
That's true.
What can you do for me?
That's true. Nobody really tells the truth when they get asked that question.
Right, because it's like, okay, let me spill it all to you. Let me spill my guts.
It's like, damn.
My day was crazy as hell. I'm going through it. I need $10,000. I need a hug. I need can you come through and do it? No. So it's not to take away from having a support system, but it has to do with your personality style. Some people do just need people to listen or just sit on FaceTime or watching it. Everybody's different. I know my personality style.
Right.
I need one good, hardcore, serious vent where I gotta cry, scream, whatever. And sometimes when you hit me up, I may not be in that space yet where I could do that.
Right.
It has always been hard for me to verbalize my. I'm surprised I'm doing so well in this. My voice was cracking a few times.
You know you're doing well.
Like even when I was a kid, like prayers, I had to write my prayers down.
Right.
I would like stuff would happen. I would be upset, emotional. My parents were like, "What's your problem?" My son does the same thing. And I'm like, nothing. It's not because I don't want to tell you. It's because it's very hard for me to verbalize because it's rooted so deeply in a bunch of other things.
Right.
Yeah, this little thing happened today that made me upset, but it reminded me of 10 things from 20 years ago that made me upset that I never fixed.
Right.
I don't have time to break that down to you. And a lot of times when I do vent, a lot of times I do feel misunderstood. And I would rather just be upset about something by myself than feel misunderstood and disappointed by people who didn't have that intention because now I'm putting too much pressure on you.
Right.
I wanted this person to come rescue me and save my day, and they
just
flopped.
there,
Like,
and now you mad and whatever.
Yeah, that's not fair either. So
Right.
it's like, you know what? I'm fine. don't even worry about it.
I get that. Damn. 20 years ago. Do you feel like stuff that early on still haunts you?
Absolutely, because for me, I'm just like being resourceful. My thing is always, let's get to the point. Let's get to a resolution or an answer.
Right.
So to have unanswered things in my life, it puts me in a tizzy. Like I feel like I can't function because I don't know I don't know why this occurred. I don't know why this person did that. I don't know why this happened this way.
Right.
And it causes too much overthinking, basically.
Right. So how do you deal with that?
I don't know. I'm still trying to figure that out.
You just dealing
I've been doing this new thing where I do share more. Like I hit my friend up the other day. I said, "Oh, this and this aggravates me." Like it was something stupid. It probably sounded like I was complaining, but I don't complain often, so people think nothing's wrong with me.
Right.
And I don't get that. Like, oh, what's wrong? I don't get that. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna start complaining. That's my trick.
Yeah,
I'm gonna start complaining.
You said in the beginning, he's like, I don't want to sound like I'm complaining. I'm like, no.
Yeah, that's the problem. I don't know if you watched the Fresh Prince, not the reboot, but
oh, the one on Peacock.
yeah. So you remember when Viv and Will's mother got into the argument.
Yep.
And they were going back and forth, and Uncle Phil was talking to her, and he's like, "You need to go like check on her." She's like, "She's fine. She's always been the strong." And then it clicked to her like, "Wait a minute, like
I probably should.
This is why she's so upset." So when she went out and they had that dialogue, I had to go find it because it really it struck me so hard because I said, "This is what I've always been trying to say, but I've never been able to verbalize it."
Right.
Whatever she said in that moment that explains how she was feeling, and like I've always put myself to the side so you could flourish, and I've always been a support to everybody else. The way that she explained it, the wording that she used was so on point, and I need to go back and find it just so I can have it as like a guide for myself. And I'm not saying I like give my last penny to every person on the street. I'm not that great of a person, but I do a lot of little things that accumulate to, oh damn, I need to look out for myself for once.
Yeah, you should probably start because
I am.
You do a lot.
It's fun.
That's good.
It's fun saying no. I should have been doing this.
You know, but then you got something. I seen who said that? Shonda Rhimes, the power in saying yes. It's a lot of like, in one instance say no, right?
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh,
it's
say
very
yes.
complex. It's very complex because, like I said, even making that little PSA on Instagram, when you go out there and you say everybody only hits me up to ask me stuff, now people want to be standoffish and they don't want to say nothing to you. So it's like, damn, I don't want to miss out on opportunities because someone felt scared to say something to me because they think I'm mean and I don't want them talking to me.
Right.
So you have to tread lightly, but it's a very complex line between having a boundary and still being just being a member of society. Like, if everyone was to give their true thoughts 24/7, we would all be in conflict all the time.
Yeah,
so a lot of the time it's like the balance between biting your tongue, but then also asserting yourself and saying, hey, that I don't like that. That doesn't work for me.
I like it. You throw a lot of events, right? You're known for like bringing people together. Where does that come from? Like, why do you do it? Like,
this is
I feel
so
like
therapeutic.
Yeah, like I mean, you do it and like it's dope. But why do you do it? So
I think this started from when I was a kid. Like my birthday is in the summer. Our birthday's in the summer. Well, your birthday's kind of more towards
No,
school.
I'm summer. Don't do that.
Yeah, but it's like the school year summer.
First day of school.
Yeah, okay. But you're in school.
That's
so
true.
I would see people at school having the birthday parties, cupcakes and stuff for their birthday. My birthday is dead smack in the middle of the summer. So it's like I'm in a road trip with my family going to my grandmother's house. Like, so I always had in my mind when I'm 17, when I'm, I always like, let's go to Friday.
Yeah, let's do this. Yep,
I always had in my mind to celebrate myself with my birthday and make it a bigger deal because I felt like I missed out on that as a child. And that's not to take away like from my family. It's not your fault that I was born in the summertime. But so that is what started me getting friends together. And then from there, it's like literally anytime I have a creative idea, I want to make it into an experience. And a lot of the events that I created was just simply me not finding that for myself. Like, I'm not, like, of course I have my club stage and stuff, but like, I'm not going to go to the club right now.
Right.
I want to go to a R&B kickback type thing. That's soundtrack to summer. Like, I'm a girl, but I'm not heavy into makeup. I want to learn how to do makeup. I've had a makeup class. I've had vendor events and pop-up shops. I've had all these things that are just places that I want to be.
So when you reflect back, how you think you did so far with all this?
I think I did decent. I was just telling my boyfriend the other day, I know this sounds very drab and dark, but like, if tomorrow's my last day, I know for sure that there's a handful of people that I impacted, and it's not on like a super big scale. It's not like if something happened to me, everybody knows who I am. I'm not one of those people, but the conversations that I have with people, some that I've never met and some that I have met, and I save them. Like, I have a little motivation drawer on my phone. I screenshot things. I know that there's a good enough amount of people that I've impacted, and that's why I don't feel the need to have like a big platform of being, I don't need to be a life coach and going on speaking events. Like, I know 3, 5, 7 people for sure, I made their life a little bit better. So that's enough.
This is what this platform is. This might be rant time, Tarquin.
Oh,
this is what this platform is. This is why I called you, because to me it's important for certain people like yourself, right? Because I've realized people listen to you, right? So I know people want to hear what's going on in your brain. And like, you don't really have time to even do that.
Right.
You're always doing something. So it's dope that you even, you said you was going to do it because it's me, but I still really appreciate it though.
Of the platform. Yes. Because I feel like you're a good case study of, okay, I had an idea to do something. Like, who in the world starts a podcast or a movement or something and then is on like XO Nicole or like Essence or something to me like that?
Right.
That's not normal. Like,
it's not.
So it's obvious that you're not just starting it just on some trendy type thing.
Right.
It has a meaning. It has value. Every interview to date has been extremely valuable. The story about male infertility.
Yes.
Speaking about things that people would not normally speak about.
Yeah.
That's all very valuable. So
I appreciate
have to
that.
be involved with
I
that.
appreciate that. So what's the legacy look like for you? I know people, some people don't like to talk about legacy, but it's clear that you're trying to leave. You said, if you were to go today, God forbid, you left an imprint. But let's say you don't go. And right? You won't. And what is it? What do you want it to be?
That's something I'm trying to figure out right now. I really don't feel the need to make a big splash. I feel like everybody right now has a platform, which is great. I think everybody should have a voice, but I think we are oversaturated with opinions.
Right.
And I don't need to be another person giving my opinion. I feel like a lot of people like to hear themselves talk, which is cool, but I don't want to ever come across as one of those people.
Right.
One thing I don't think that's a part of my character, but it can be misconstrued, is like arrogance. The same way, like the title of your podcast, No Guru-ish. I would never want anyone to feel like I think that I'm on a certain level. And that's not even to down, because I am a down player, I admit that.
Right.
That's not to downplay myself, but I literally just don't feel the need to make a big splash. If something I do has an impact in that way and it's big and it really leaves like a big legacy, that's cool. But my legacy is my child. When we went to his award ceremony for his school, meeting other parents like, you're so-and-so's mom. Like, knowing that he makes a positive impact in a 10-person first grade classroom, I'm good. I'm all set.
That must feel amazing.
Hearing so much positive feedback about, because parenting is hard. You're like, am I doing this right? Am I doing that right? Hearing any positive feedback about your child, I know it sounds cliche, that's literally enough for me. That's all. And just knowing my child is raised in love, and a lot of the things that maybe I didn't feel were of value as a child, I try to avoid that with him. I try to make sure that he knows that, as kids, we couldn't talk back.
Right.
We couldn't have an opinion.
Right.
Respectfully, in a respectful way, I try to make sure he knows that he can have an opinion. He can speak his thoughts, whether I like them or not.
Right.
He can offer up ideas. Like, he's a part of he's not an accessory to the family. It's the three of us.
Right.
We are the family. If we make a decision, we have little family meetings.
Yep.
That's just simply my legacy. My child being, I want him to, if anything ever happens to me, I want him to be self-sufficient. We're both very overly sensitive, very, where he's a Pisces. I don't know if anybody cares about astrology, but he's very sensitive. I want him just to understand really how to express yourself, express your emotions, when to do that, and the power of that. And really like taking your sensitivity, which a lot of people see as a flaw, and using it as a powerful thing. But yeah, anything positive that anybody has to say about my son, I could go right now and I know.
Wow.
He's only 7 years old, and people talk. let me give you a good example. He went on a trip with his dad's side of the family, an extended part of that family, not even his family,
Right.
an extended family.
Right.
They went to Disney like 25 deep, mad people, right?
Right.
We weren't there. He went with them. He had a great time. Came back. We went to their house for like a holiday event.
Yep.
This is literally extended family. It's not my family, not my boyfriend's family. It's an extended family.
Right.
We walked through the door. All the adults in the room, Prime, my man. I'm like, what in the world? Like, my man, how you doing? That's my boyfriend. I'm like, what? For a little
And y'all wasn't there.
We didn't go on the like. So it's like we're chopped liver. People love him. So that's literally it for me. That's all. I don't nothing else. I don't care. Nobody got to give me no award or no pat on the back. I do not care. My child he's going to be a functioning citizen of society, and he's gonna run into things, but he's gonna know how to navigate and he's gonna know the importance of his mental health over money and all this other stuff that's such a big thing in the world. He's gonna know how to navigate life, and that's literally my legacy.
Wow. Damn. You got me with that one. Where did the name come from? Instagram name.
So she's basically is literally just a truncated version of people saying that I'm something for them. So, you don't even like, Anthony, the one. It's like, she's basically the person that does it. So it's like just a shorter version. Whatever you want to put after that, she's basically whatever I am to you. You can put that on the end of it. So it's just a shortened version of the fact that I'm a lot of different things to a lot of different people.
I like it. Justin, you looking over there like you got something to say, man. You got something to ask Shay, man. Yo, what you mean, man? This is why I'm doing what I want to do, man. This was dope, man.
Oh, you did forget one part.
Go ahead, talk to me.
How does Shay maintain Shay through all this?
I feel like that was kind of the theme of the whole thing. I'm not maintaining it. I'm still in the process of figuring it out. No, I'm definitely getting better with just my personal mental and emotional hygiene. But it's a process. You have to, in order to improve your mental health, you have to go backwards.
Right.
And that's one of the, if when people want to lose weight or they get in shape, they just, okay, I'm gonna start the gym tomorrow. I'm gonna do these exercises. It's still a journey, but all I gotta do is I just gotta start tomorrow.
Right.
For mental health, it's not, okay, I'm starting with what I got and I move forward. You have to go back first.
That's true.
And a lot of people don't want to go back with you. A lot of people don't want to take accountability with you.
Right.
A lot of people weren't there for you to explain why A, B, and C is triggering to me. So it's a lot to unpack. And I think that's why most people don't unpack. They just move forward.
Right.
But then you get into a situation where people are getting into arguments and shooting people dead.
Yep.
It's like, what's really going on in there? Like, I don't want to get to that point ever in life. I don't want to be in that place where I'm just living in conflict and toxicity. And I want to get that clean slate so I can start going to the mental gym. And you can journal and be spiritual and pray and all this stuff, but if you don't address nothing from behind you, then that work in the gym is not going to be impactful.
That's hard to do. So. That's hard to look certain things in the face.
Yeah, so I guess right now I'm just going backwards so I can go forward, basically.
Anything else for Just?
Nah, that's it for now.
That's it for now.
Tarkin, you're pretty amazed by this one, huh?
Might be the best one.
I'm telling you, man.
That's what everybody say when I come on their podcast.
Nah, man.
Maybe that's my legacy. I'm a good podcast guest.
Nah. Trust me. And this is all like intakes right here. We keep this stuff rolling, but what I got from this is, damn shit, I didn't know you were. Okay, I know other things about you that I left off.
What you want to bring it up?
You sure?
Yeah, go ahead. What you want to bring up?
All right, man.
Wait, let me get comfortable. What you know about me?
All right, man. I just remember when we was younger. Now tell me if I'm dreaming. This could be just my own thoughts.
Should be interesting.
I know your parents. You know, you got your parents and they're great people.
Awesome.
But I also know there was one question you were always looking for.
Still looking. I'm about to be 34 years old.
Do you want to talk about that?
Yes, let's get into it.
I remember
this is going to be the first and last time that I talk about any of these things, so we might as well do a full gamut.
Right. So I remember, in high school you was looking for your biological father. You've been looking.
Just to give context, because I don't think he didn't really do a good intro. I've literally known Anthony my whole life.
See, I try to leave that alone, man.
I've known him since I was 5 years old. And I would definitely consider, I grew up with Justin. We grew up on the same street. I have a handful of guys that I've known my whole life.
You peed on yourself in the first grade.
Okay, now you're making up stories.
All right, whatever.
You was the person that peed on yourself.
Whatever.
You see, he's trying to eyes.
Justin,
out.
I swear.
Why would you say that?
All right, whatever.
No, I probably did.
She did.
I did. He didn't have to do that.
I'm
though,
sorry.
right?
I'm sorry.
He didn't have to do that.
But yes.
But yeah, just to give context, knowing him all my life would definitely consider. I mean, I really don't have a bunch of close male friends. Anybody that I would say is a male friend is like a JP Vincent,
Right.
a guy from JP Vincent, our elementary school that we went to. So your perspective of it is it's a professional perspective because
Yes.
you was really there with me if I had anything to go through.
Right.
So yeah,
So yeah, I remember that. Like, but I never had the heart to ask you again.
yeah. So okay, I'm gonna be 34 this year.
Yep.
Yes. I do not know my biological father. I have a idea of who it may be. I don't know when's the last time we ever spoke about this because
No, it was one and done.
Probably was decades ago.
Yeah.
But I could recall in high school trying to reach out to parts of his family and some people being kind of cooperative and other people not being cooperative. But yeah, when I really think back to it, this is another reason why I say I want my son to be able to express himself and ask questions that, you know, for some people it's like that's adult business. You're not supposed to ask about it. My main thing with not knowing my father growing up is that was never explained to me. So I have the last name of my sister's father, which is another reason why I don't like, I don't parade a last name. I don't recognize that name because that's not my family.
Right.
But on paper, that's my last name. So I have the last name of my sister's father. My sister doesn't have, I can't speak to her relationship with her father, but at the time we lived in different states. We lived in Connecticut. They lived in another state.
Right.
So me and my sister are very close in age. We're only 16 months apart. So as a young child, when my sister had interactions with her father, I literally thought that this is my father and he does not like me. Because you know how children's brains are.
Right.
Children don't have much to go off of. They can't ask questions. Nobody's giving them information. I literally thought my sister gets Christmas gifts and I don't because my father doesn't like me.
Right.
That's before me having a stepfather. Now I have my dad is great.
Absolutely.
Been in our lives a very long time. But that's the way that I internalized it from
Right.
all the way back then. So like even my family, they pick on me and say, oh, when it was your sister's birthday, you would have a tantrum and you would cry. It's like, you guys are the adults. Y'all can't understand why I was having a tantrum because I thought that. And then on top of that, because of certain things in the family, I felt that, and I'm sure this is on both sides, I felt my sister had favoritism from certain people. My sister felt that I had favoritism from certain people. But you know, adults, they direct towards kids that they feel need something extra.
Right.
But as a child, you don't see it that way. You see it as the adults like this kid and they don't like me.
Right.
So a lot of that is very internalized. And I think that me being a person that's like very confident and self-aware, because I don't know that part of myself, that makes it's very uneasy for me. And because I attempted to know that part and it was unsuccessful. And now it's like, would I be interrupting somebody's life? I mean, at this point, where the prospective person, their kids is grown and in college and did whatever. So it's like, at every point that I wanted to make some contact, I felt uncomfortable about it, but I still tried. I don't feel that I should have been the one to try to make contact.
Right.
I think that absolutely 2000% put strain on my relationship with my mom, which now that I'm older and I know how people are, I feel like if you would have explained certain things to me, I would have been able to take it better. Because I know if I was in a certain situation and somebody made me feel like I was like less than them and not deserving of certain relationships, I wouldn't really be messing with that either. But yeah, I'm getting upset right now. It's still a thing. It will always be a thing for me.
Yeah. I know that stuck with me. Like when you broke it down to me back then.
Yeah. I don't even remember talking about that.
See? Because I'm sure you don't, because you were very passionate about it.
Yeah.
I don't know how we got on it, but
I was hardcore. I was like, period, the spy.
Yeah,
I was
man,
compiling documents, like literally,
man.
like
I remember.
I was interviewing, like I was doing things I shouldn't have been doing at like 14 years old. I'm talking to the adults, like, what's up? I'm sorry, I don't care who get mad. You got to tell me. Like I was pulling information from different sources to piece things together. Literally going through stuff I shouldn't be going through to try to find letters, try to make sense of things.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's what made it worse. If the situation is that you just don't have a relationship with someone, cool. But if you don't have any understanding of that, of why and how it unfolded, that's very. It's very harsh. Maybe that's why maybe that's what you were trying to hint at earlier.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why I've always been like trying to be like an overachiever and
I was.
you should have got to it.
Yeah.
And things of that nature, because it makes you feel it's not I wouldn't call that an abandonment thing, because it wasn't a situation where, oh, my parents was together and it didn't work out.
Right.
It's literally like I was never acknowledged. So it's like, well, what's wrong with me? Like, so that impacted some of my relationships. Like, you know, my first love type relationship.
Yep.
I'm like, what's up? Like, what's wrong? Like, you doing weird stuff. Is it
Right.
like, is there something wrong with me? And I got to the point as an adult, like, it's not nothing wrong with me. Like, of course, as humans, we all have our flaws, but like,
Right.
I had to learn, like, it's not there. I'm not lacking
Right.
anything. It's just some people, they'll kind of use that against you because they know that you have more of an attachment because you don't
Right.
want to be left in situations. But yeah, no, that's one of the biggest impacts on my life. That's one of the biggest things that I started to unpack in therapy. For me, like, even as an adult, I have had a person come to me like, you're my daughter, but they're not the person.
Right. Oh,
but
man.
because I had interactions with them as a child and they
Yeah.
felt that we had that level of relationship. It was the weirdest thing. I'm literally about to tell you a story I'm not the type of person to tell all my business.
Right.
This guy hit me up on Facebook. I know of him, told me he's my father, telling me I got a brother and all this stuff. So I'm like, cool, at this point, I'm not even about to argue with you. Let's go get a paternity test.
Right.
Since you're that seems reasonable,
let's
right?
get straight to the
And he
point.
got mad, like, but I think he was coming from a place of, I used to take care of you or I was in your life as a child.
Right.
And I want to still be in your life, but I literally don't know you because I was a child.
Right.
So it's weird for me.
Right.
So if you want to take it there, let's go get a test.
Yeah, then we can answer this question.
It's like a backwards, like Maury, like, you want to be my dad, but you.
What do you mean?
but you
Get a test.
Yes, it was very weird. So I think like that's something that re-triggered me as an adult. That literally happened to me while I was at work. One of my coworkers would tell you I was like going off. Like it was after I have a pet peeve about like random people calling my child like their nephew and stuff.
Right.
He said something my grandson. I went off. That was it. If you want to come in my Facebook inbox and say you're my father and cool. Don't address nothing about my son because you don't know him from a can of paint.
Wow.
That took me to the next level of like, all right, I'm about to start cussing some adults out. Like, who needs to be called right now? That took me to like, I had to call my grandmother. Like, what's really good? Because somebody's about to get cussed out. So yeah. It's crazy. It's very like BET-ish.
It is.
And I feel like the type of person that I am, it just doesn't even match.
Right.
And yeah, I was probably like a little bit disturbed as a child. I remember being early, I was like third grade, right? And when we have like writing prompts, my writing prompts was about being a girl that was like finding her father. That was always a thing. And even when I tried to pack it away,
Yeah.
every year or 2 years, it's something that brings it back all the time. So for the people, I have a like Tasha's one of my friends that was like when I was an adult. She was like into the story and like doing research with me and stuff. Sometimes I can make it lighthearted.
Right.
Like let's go on Google and find them. And
right.
But a lot of times it's not funny. Like it's not like
you kind of made it that way.
Yeah.
When you told me.
I've always been like a self-deprecating because it's like literally laugh through my pain.
Right.
We might as well just make it funny because there's nothing we can do about
Yep.
it. But sometimes it's not. When I'm really sitting by myself, it's not funny. It literally bothers me. It impacts the way I interact with people. It has a toll. It takes a toll.
All right. Well, last thing. Do you regret looking? Do you wish you would have just
No, because I'm not that type. I'm not a let it go type of person.
Right.
I wish I was. I wish I could be carefree, unbothered, give no
Right.
I wish that I was like that. I wish that I could. And it got to the point where I started to feel like, damn, am I ungrateful? Because I do have a really great dad. I have a man that stepped in and was a stepfather when you really didn't have to be.
Right.
You was a young guy and you became a stepfather to 2 small children. You didn't have to do that.
Right.
So I never wanted my dad to feel like, it's to the point where I didn't want to address him because I didn't want to, okay, just in case I meet my dad, I don't want to call you dad and I got another dad. But then I would get over it and I would say, okay, I want my dad's last name. So, I used to put Shay Shaw. That was right because my stepdad's last name. But then I would go back. Like, it's weird. I don't want to be close to you because I might meet my dad tomorrow.
Right.
Like, literally making up scenarios and stuff. So, yeah, I would never want my dad to feel that I'm ungrateful because he played a role that most people won't play. But, no, I would never be the type of person to say, I don't know my father. Cool. Like, that's never cool with me.
Right.
That would never be cool with me. That would never be all right with me.
Well, I know that you're still shaking and moving, but I'm kind of glad you kind of spoke about it because I know it was personal. I didn't want to just throw it out there, so I waited. But
I know what you was hitting at. You should have just said it.
Man, because I care.
Yeah, no, I'd rather sometimes just be forced to talk about certain things because even if I break down and look a fool and I'm crying and whatever, it's like you do feel better after.
So you want to talk about whatever? I could just throw stuff. Cause
whatever you want to talk about.
Listen, I start throwing all types of stuff
What you
out
got?
here. What you got?
He like, I don't know her.
Nah, man, I just think I just know people gravitate towards you. I know you do a lot. I know people are wondering how. You may downplay it. You called yourself a downplayer, but I think it's amazing what you've done, and what I can only be excited for what's in the future for you. I don't know if you're gonna start any more businesses.
Nah, I see a chill future. Even when I have thoughts of new things that I want to do, I really try to table them. Because I really just need I really want to chill. I don't want to always be a host. I want to be a guest. I want to enjoy. I don't want to always be working. I don't want to always be doing labor. I want to do what I have to do to have the freedom that I'm looking for, but I don't want to out labor my life.
So if you had to make the picture, what is it? What does it look like? I know you work, you got the concert job because you had to, but if you had to like paint the picture of it, what would you want it to be?
I am working towards. I have not really went full throttle on like the social media influencing thing, but that's something that, even though I don't think people make fun of it, but it is very hard to create content and record and edit and get a team together and all the location and like that's very difficult. But there are a lot of opportunities that are very passive. Like I'm getting ready to do a video on like 5 ways that you can make money as like a micro or tiny influencer. For me, I have one affiliate relationship that's very lucrative, and and this is off of me doing nothing. I make money monthly and I don't do anything. So if I did more, I could make more money. So I want to do more of that. I know everybody's into real estate and all the big things right now. Yeah. I'm trying to like unlock some of those really small gems. Like if I can put up a video on YouTube and it can make me thousands of dollars a month, why wouldn't I do that? So that's what I'm trying to lean more into, so that I can ease back on some of the other things that require more of my time. I want to create a few pillars. And those things, it's just the same way with real estate. You create a few pillars and they continue.
And it is the same thing. Listen, real estate, people talk, it's great. It is, but it comes with a huge price.
You're right.
See that? You heard that, Huff?
That's side.
It comes with a huge price that people don't talk about.
Right.
And
everybody make everything seem so. Go to the store, get an LLC.
No.
That's not how it works.
It's not how it works at all.
It's ridiculous.
And when I tell you, because you're dealing with people still. Now you can have people like, project managers and stuff, but that's a bigger scale. Now you're losing money.
Yeah,
right.
So I'm not ready to play all those mind games. I don't want to labor. I don't want to be cleaning up after people and fixing properties, and then I don't want to give nobody 50%.
You're chaperoning people.
So yeah, I'm trying to unlock some, like I said, unlock some small gems that will have, it obviously won't have the same monetary impact as something like real estate. Some small gems that can keep. I don't need much. I want to think with abundance, but I also know I don't need much. Like I said, I have a family of 3. We like to have a good time.
Yep.
We want to go be able to take a trip here or there, enjoy each other. I'm literally good sitting on my back patio grilling. I don't need much. I'm not a person that I need to go to Turks and Caicos.
Right.
I'm not one of those people. Granted, if I get to that point and that's my life, cool. Things change. Today, right now, I don't need much. So I know that if I do a few certain things to unlock some more passive income, then I don't need to have my hand in so many pots, basically.
How did you get to, well, you did just drop a little gem real fast. I ain't gonna let this go because you said we could talk about it. You said, you do nothing, but you still get paid. How did you get, whatever that is, how did you get there?
So it's actually funny because when it comes to like influencing and things of that nature, everything is about having a big platform. But the bigger your platform is, the lower your engagement is. Kylie Jenner may have 200 million followers. She's not talking to them all day. I'm talking to my followers all day. I literally have so many like Instagram friends. I have so many Instagram friends or, like besties.
Right.
I'm going down a list of meeting them, whether I met them in real life, whether we had like a Zoom conference, like we'll literally get on Zoom and just be chilling.
Right.
I can actually engage with people. So for a business that's trying to make money, do you want someone that has 1 million followers and they don't talk to none of them? Or do you want somebody that has 1,000 followers and they talk to 50, 100 of them on a daily basis? I'm very engaged. And because of that, my following is very trusting of me. I'm not just going to do any old thing. Now, granted, if a tire company come to me and say, we'll give you $10 million to sell tires off things, I guess I'm selling tires. But I try to keep it reasonable as far as what I'm sharing. So that particular relationship that I have, I reached out. I said, hey, I use your product all the time. I talk about it all the time. I share it with everybody. I'm looking for a partnership. They said we don't partner with people under 10,000 followers.
Okay.
To me, that's a vanity. But what does that even mean?
Right.
There's people with 10,000 followers. They're either fake or, like I said, they don't interact with their following. So,
right.
okay, I have 5,000 followers, but trust me, I move your product. And people like numbers. So I'm also an Amazon affiliate. So I can show, I have some receipts. Here's what I've done on Amazon. So bring me to your platform directly so you can get the money directly. I've made this company $35,000 in like 6 months. And that's off of me doing the bare minimum. I barely do anything. It's my natural habit to talk about this.
Right. You will be doing it anyway.
I would be doing it anyway. So the ways that I have made money with them, it's like, it only makes it. Now, if I ramp it up and I get a better camera and I do more content and I get more engaged with it, I can put out more pillars that continuously make me money. The things that make me money right now, I shot it on my iPhone. I edited it on an iPhone app. I didn't have to put too much into it because it's genuine.
Right.
So imagine it's like, what can you do when you take it to the next level?
Yo, that's dope.
So yeah, I'm trying to crush the affiliate side of things. I'm trying to get a few good partnerships that have good affiliate payouts, but again, stuff that I actually use and care about. That's what I focus on.
So yo, that is just as good as real estate. I don't want you to think because
if your platform grows, if I can convert right now, I'm converting 10% of the people that are looking.
Yeah.
That's a very high conversion rate. If I could do that for my own business,
right,
I would be doing better. So if I could do that for somebody else and I can repeat that formula and process with other partnerships, I'm good.
35,000 in 6 months?
Mm-hmm. Wow. They have a high price point product and I convert at 10%. 10% of people that hear me talk about it buy it.
Okay, so now, yo, that's crazy. So like, are you gonna like go hard with this one company?
I'm gonna go hard with this one. I'm gonna go harder with this one because their product is so good, and like I said, the price point is high, so the payout is high for me.
Right.
But I also have one that's pending for an app that wants to work with me, and it is relevant. It aligns with my life and my lifestyle. It's actually a app for saving money to pay off your student loans, which I have plenty. So it's it makes sense. But I'm not going to overdo it. I'm going to like leave space for things to come to me that make sense. I'm not going to be an affiliate for like men's cologne.
Right,
I'm going to always do things that make sense. But yeah, I want to improve my content so that I can get more opportunities that come to me. Because if I'm coming to you, it's like, you can tell me whatever you want. If you come to me, what did Master P said?
I know if
they want to give me $1 million, I gotta be worth more than that. So if I can get you to come to me, now I have a little bit more leeway and I can kind of negotiate more.
Man, you're dropping a lot of gems right now. But also, I don't think everybody can do that. Cause like I still feel like you have to have that it factor.
Yeah.
So like I get it, like, oh, everyone could, but like some people have something special about them, and like you just have that it factor. I don't know what it is, like, cause you do a lot of stuff, so I can't really pinpoint exactly, but it's it.
Thank you.
That's dope, man. I wish the best. I hope you get there. Those little companies are like little houses to me in real estate.
My little monopoly board.
Yep.
I gotta multiply.
Yeah, man. People are making a lot of money on social media.
They are. And it feels like you can't because there's so many people already doing it, but there's space because new things are popping up every day. There's a new company every day that needs that's using influencer marketing and user generated content and all that type of stuff. So I feel like as long as I keep it authentic and I'm really liking what I'm talking about, then it will be well received.
All right, so do you have any advice you want to give? I know we're not gurus, but
my advice is listen to all advice, but make your own decisions.
You heard what she said. And that's it. This is the best podcast, man. I'm the best podcaster.
Oh my God,
I'm the best podcaster. You know that? And I'm going to have the #1 podcast in Connecticut when it's done at the end of the year. I'm the best podcaster.